Hi guys, and welcome again to Freckle Finance. Today I thought I would go over what program I like to use to do my taxes. I'm also just going to give you a history on how I came to this program and what I've done in the past, just to clarify why I like this program so much. So to start from the very beginning, I did what my family told me to do, and probably what most of my friends at the time did, and I went to H&R Block. I went there for many years in a row. I don't know how many, but it was quite a few years in a row. I went there. I thought it was easy. You do have to pay. I can't remember how much it is, but it was probably about $25 because I never used it as a non-student. And then one year while I was in university, this is while I was working minimum wage, I also had a car. I believe the car was paid off, but there was still car expenses for it, obviously. And I was very tight on my budget, and I didn't even feel I had enough of, like, let's say it was $25. I didn't feel I had $25 in my budget whatsoever to go and get my taxes done. So I pen and papered my tax return. And by that, I mean I know you can get them in Shoppers in Canada. You can probably find them somewhere if you're American or other countries. They probably provide them for you. But you get a booklet that has all the information you have to fill out, and then you have another booklet that has all the information you need in order to do your taxes. So it was a long and brutal process, but extremely informative, and I think that everyone should once in their life at least do a pen and paper version of your taxes, because it helps you know what taxes are available to you in the future. It helps you know how your taxes are calculated. I know people will just take their number as a tax return and they're like, great, that's how much I got back in taxes. But why did you get that much back in taxes? Was it because of a daycare benefit and arts benefits, or I don't really know all the children benefits and stuff like that, but because you were a student, why was it? How was it calculated? Did you get 100% of it back? Did you get 50% of it back, 15%? That way you can actually judge while you're paying for some of these things, is it even worth like the 15% return on it that you get? You'll also become more aware of the maximum amount of money that you can get back. And I just think it was really informative. Now, I think I probably spent about 4, 5, maybe more hours doing it, and it was very frustrating, but honestly, it was also kind of fun at the same time, being able to have all this knowledge on a tax return. However, I would suggest that if you have a very complicated tax return, or you're self-employed and such like that, that you should definitely see a tax professional in that case. I don't think you should do pen and paper on some more complicated stuff. I would recommend, however, if you are self-employed or other types of complicated forms, I'm sure there's many more, but self-employed is the only one I can come up with right now, that you do try to do it on your own. If not pen and paper, then with a program. See why you have a different answer than your accountant, and try to learn from the accountant or tax accountant, whoever you're using. See why your numbers are different so that you can actually learn, so you can do your taxes in the future, because you can end up saving a lot of money over the years if you know how to do your taxes, no matter how complicated it is. After you do it once, even I'm sure complicated ones, you should be able to do it again, always in the future. So pen and paper is obviously very cheap to do. I paid for a stamp, and I was actually really annoyed that I had to pay for that stamp too, because I thought I was doing a free return. So technically what I use now is even cheaper because it's fully free and I don't have to pay for a stamp. But after that, I think it was the next year, I discovered the H&R Block online. It's the exact same thing. If you go in person, it asks you questions, it chooses which forms you need based on those questions, and it helps you fill out those forms. I really liked it the first year that I used it. I might have used it 2 years in a row. I'm not exactly sure. But I did like using it, and I have no qualms against it per se, but it does cost a fee. I don't remember what it is. I don't think it's that large. And then the next year, or the last year that I attempted to use it, I know, possibly I just knew because I understand taxes a bit better than I would have had I not done pen and paper taxes. But I knew that the number was wrong. I don't remember if it was too high or too low, but the calculation was wrong, and I didn't want to redo it all over again. And then I heard about Simple Tax, which is now the system I use, and I converted all the numbers I had, like I just looked, and it's just basically your income and blah, blah, blah. I just transferred all those numbers over to Simple Tax. It took about 15 minutes and it was done, and the number made a heck of a lot more sense than the first number that I had with H&R Block. And Simple Tax is absolutely free to file. So that's basically why I like it. And it's pretty much the same setup as the H&R online one. It's like going into an H&R Block in person. You get asked questions. I think this year it took me 15 minutes maximum to do. And same with last year when I did it. So it's very, very simple. And they even have a feature which may be added into other programs, because I think it's the Canadian government incorporated this system this year. But you can actually sign in to your CRA account, and it can actually populate most of the numbers you need for you, and it can just basically be done. Snap like that. I didn't do it because I was really on the ball, and I kind of wanted to know what my tax return was going to be this year, or refund, and how much it was going to be. So I gung-hoed it, and I did it based off of my last paycheck of the year, which at least for me, those numbers are accurate, so it worked. I don't really remember how it was for the H&R Block online website, but for Simple Tax, if you're not sure if a tax benefit is right for you, like sometimes they would ask a question and I would just say, yeah, sure, so that it would pull up the form for me, and I would hover over all the ones and realize like this is obviously not for me. You can hover over and it gives a quick explanation, and then if you need further explanation, you could probably always look it up online. Once again though, if you are doing a very complicated tax return and you're not even sure really what you're eligible for, I would still use a proper tax specialist or accountant, not H&R Block or any of those type of places, but a proper person who really understands taxes, and just like I said before, figure out what you actually qualify for so that you can in the future go ahead and do it on your own with these systems. And I'm not sure how advanced Simple Tax will let you get with your taxes, like if there are special case scenarios or not. I'm not sure of any of that, because my taxes are fairly simple. I make money from a job, and that's pretty much, I contributed to RRSPs, and for Americans that's like 401k. So basically that's all I have. I don't have any extra stuff that I needed to add. So I would still check it out, see if it does allow for your type of tax return, and especially if you're going to an accountant, still put it in. It's free. It's free to actually use most of the programs, and then they'll charge you when you go to file it. So even if you're going to an accountant, figure out what it is that you think that your return is, and figure out why there's a discrepancy. Maybe you thought there was more that you were getting back or less, and maybe your accountant missed some stuff. I don't know, but I definitely think that it is best in the long run to figure out how to do your taxes yourself. Around here, if it's anything but a very simple tax return, it usually costs about $100, and that's $100 a year per person basically that you can save, and it just it's beneficial in the long run that you save all that money. I also want to point out that I am aware that the tax system is very different in the US, and I've heard that it's much more complicated, and as well in different countries. So base this definitely on your knowledge level. I don't know that Simple Tax is a thing that they have in the US, but I'm sure there are free US, I'm pretty sure I've heard that there are free US tax things. So base it off of how complicated your taxes are, and just try to find a way that you can learn how to figure out the taxes on your own. And if you're American, definitely maybe use the tax accountant the first time or any time that something significantly changes. But from then on, you try to do it on your own for free, because, you know, more money you save, the earlier you can retire or buy a house, or, you know, more money to save for your children's college or university education. I don't know. The money, little savings here and there really add up, just like little bits of spending here and there really add up. So basically, I recommend trying to find a way to do your taxes for free, but make sure you are knowledgeable first. As well, click subscribe so that you can see when my videos are uploaded, and also you can like me on Facebook. Have a good day. Bye.